How many of you take online classes? I know a lot of you do because we are in one right now. According to Purdue University Global, they state, quote, in 2018, about 3.3 million students attend college exclusively online, end quote. During this pandemic, we were forced to switch to online learning, which many of us do not like. I personally like to learn in person because I feel more motivated and I feel forced to pay attention, which leads me to being successful, or somewhat more successful in school. I am more of a hands-on learner, and as a result, these online classes don't do a lot for me. First, I will talk about the problems that arise with online education, then what causes these problems, and finally what you could do to fix these problems. As of now, there are many problems with online education. Two of the major issues we are facing include not having enough motivation to do your schoolwork or to be successful, and the other is having technological issues. Starting with motivation, there's a lack of motivation when learning online. According to Sandra Tam, the author of the article, Disadvantages of E-Learning, he states, quote, due to the lack of face-to-face communication between peers, students, and teachers in an online setting, the students might find that they are unable to work effectively in a team setting, end quote. Because of lack of motivation, there is a less interaction between students and teachers, which is very important when we are learning. When there is interaction, there is time to reflect and share what us students have learned. Another point is when there is a lack of motivation within oneself. There is a chance of having depression and stress when we lack motivation. According to Walker from the Importance of Social Interactions article, he states, quote, while not interacting regularly can result in a lonely, isolated existence, it can also lead to something as deadly as depression, end quote. The other problem that students are facing is with technology. Students may face technical difficulties during class, and according to the University of Illinois, they state, quote, lack of access, meaning the internet, whether it be for economic or logistic reasons, will exclude otherwise eligible students from the course, end quote. Depending on your situation, it can lead you to not being involved in this course, and Wi-Fi is one of the biggest problems that students face. They experience lag, or sometimes your screen just freezes. On top of Wi-Fi problems, many students can't afford a laptop. What causes these problems, you might ask? Lots of factors determine these problems. Penelope King, the author of Why Distance Learning Can't Compare to In-Person Education, says, quote, both procrastination and lack of motivation can make it extremely difficult for students to properly absorb necessary information for their classes. This paired with a credit or non-credit or no credit grading system finds it hard to keep their motivation to keep their studying, end quote. One of the main reasons why there is a lack of motivation is because there are many distractions at home, and which leads to students having horrible time management. Distractions include anything from electronics to food. Because we are in the comfort of our own home, we feel that there are more things more important we should do than being in class. Horrible time management is one of the main reasons why students don't get our work done, and which leads to no motivation. Besides distractions, there are technological issues. The author of 10 Challenges of E-Learning During COVID, Lisa Planechko, says that, quote, millions of people around the world are experiencing technical difficulties because of a high usage rate of online learning systems, end quote. Depending on where you live, the Wi-Fi may not be the best, and it can act from time to time, especially when it's winter season and it's raining and it's windy. Also, many students don't have the funds to purchase a laptop or a device they can use to be in class because they might not have a job or have enough funds, or their parents can't buy one for them. But wherever there's a problem, there's a solution. Distractions are everywhere, problems are everywhere, but there is something we can do. Christine Greenhow, a professor in the College of Education, says, quote, "The best online learning combines elements where students go at their own pace on their own time," end quote. When we learn at our own pace, we can be more successful if we plan ahead and manage our time wisely. One solution to having motivation is to interact with the class, talk about the topic and being involved in the conversation that they are having. Another solution would be to constantly ask questions and even answer some questions that you might know the answer to. With Wi-Fi, there are two things you can do, two or more. If you have the funds, you can upgrade your Wi-Fi plan to have a stronger internet connection, or you can also go to your local coffee shop or someplace you know there's a strong connection so you don't have technological issues. If you don't have the funds for a laptop, you can always borrow one from your school. During this pandemic, your school may be giving out you may be able to borrow a laptop from them because of this worldwide pandemic. We have gone over how online learning has problems, what the cause of these problems are, and how we can find a solution to these problems. Susanna Loeb, a professor at Brown University, states, quote, So we may be skeptical of online learning, but there is also time to embrace it and improve on it," end quote. Online learning might be the future, and many of us are struggling to adapt to these new learning strategies. We have to find solutions to the problems students are facing in order to successfully move forward with online learning.